Okay, it's been a while since we went live, but we're back. So, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little fatigued by all this. There's so much going on in my life right now. I'm looking for a new job. I've got school starting soon. It's a lot. And I've neglected to hang out with you guys because I'm just nervous. Um, sure, Nightmare. Thanks for showing up. It's been a while since you've been here, but I really missed you, honestly. Um, I don't know. When I was 5, I spent the entire day. I spent one entire day just practicing my layups, which retrospectively messed up my layups for a few years after that because you shouldn't develop muscle memory when you're only a foot tall. And you're about to grow like another foot. So yeah. Yeah, that's what I have. But yeah, I actually did 1,000 layup. I completed 1,000 layups that day. I did count. Um, a lot of new developments have happened with my back. I got my injection. For a few days after that, it was really painful. And then, like, about 5 days in, I had 3 days without any back pain at all. And it was wonderful and magical, and I loved it. Now, my back pain is better. A lot better, but I still have it. Um, I found that as long as I stay active and exercise, then I don't have back pain that day. But if I'm a lazy piece of shit and I don't do anything, then it hurts. So that's what's going on with my back. Well, so the full story behind that is if I go, if I'm active, then I can have days where I don't have any pain. It's zero. Uh, but if I'm lazy, then it's basically like it was normally. I'm at least at a 4, and sometimes I'm at like a 6. And that's kind of the story with my back pain. What the fuck is this game I'm playing? I kind of left on a high note, didn't I? I was at 1,300. when I left. I took a week. I took like a week off. Oh, and I've been stuck in Elite League so long that apparently no one is still in Elite League. So I'm waiting for my division to start. Today, um, I'm at like a 2. At the end of the day, that's really nice. Um, but usually it's much worse. And I don't expect a lot of viewers today. I'm gonna be honest, Nightmare, because my schedule's been crap. I haven't stuck to my schedule at all, and fucking wet hair refuses to look good today. Never mind. I just Biebered my way into a nice hairdo. Just Biebered my way into it. I don't know what you mean by that. It's it's a cortical it's a cortical steroid. Yeah. It was very very painful because the anesthesia did not work because I am like slightly immune to lidocaine. Like I've had cavities in the past, and uh when I go to the doctor, they always inject me like 3 times. But this guy did not think that would be an issue, I guess. So it was very painful. Because I could definitely feel the needle go into my spinal column. And if that's not a terrifying thought, then you need to read uh, horror books to get the kind of things that would scare you, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty sure that's definitely illegal, bro. Yeah, like that's very illegal. That's true. Government's stupid. Like, I don't know. There's some laws I agree with, but a lot of them are dumb. Okay. I've been gone from chess for probably like a week. Did the definition of a 1200 change recently? Because I thought the 1200s used to be decent. Oh my god, they're not. They're dumb. Did everyone get worse at chess? Or did I become a genius? These are the questions you should be asking. Have my hours of Shotgun King finally paid off? Oh! Nightmare, have you seen Shotgun King? Yes, exactly. Have you seen us play Shotgun King on stream, Nightmare? It's chess too. Oh shit, am I playing in the Shotgun King category? I am. I just lost a ton of time changing that. Massive black hole. Massive black hole. Supermassive black hole. You have to promise me one thing: you won't go joyriding. It's the only thing you have to promise me. do you know? Do you not know what joyriding is? Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't know what that is. You know what? Whatever. It's when you steal a car just to drive it. Like, it's usually a nice car. It's when you steal a nice car just to drive it. I was super excited. So driving was never a big deal for me, but I was super excited when I finally got to drive a car that I bought. When I got my car, this is my, I still own my first car, but because it's a Camry, they last forever. Um, but when I first got my car, I was super stoked to drive it, and I just loved it. See, this is the kind of play I would expect from a 1200. I have crashed my car before. Um, Not my car, but a car. I didn't technically crash my car. This is an interesting story, and I'm not going to tell the story about when I crash cars because they're not that interesting. But It's not a free bishop. Not anymore. It might be a delay. But, yeah, it's 8. Yeah, no, fuck. Okay. New 3 minute. But, so, uh, here's how I messed up my car. Not permanently, but it was very expensive to fix. When I was, let's say, 18. Yeah, it was 18, because I just bought my car. No, it was probably 19, because I'd had it for like a year. So when I was 19, I was like going up to a family reunion uh at like this lake town. The same place where I broke my back. Uh because there's always interesting stories. There's so many interesting stories about that place. I should just give it a nickname and we can talk about it because it's kind of specific. And I go there a lot still. But on my way up there one year, I was I didn't want to take the interstate, because there was construction. So I took the highways, like the country highways. Uh, the speed limit was like 55, and I didn't know this. I honestly thought the speed limit was higher because in the area that I live in, the speed limit on highways is higher. But it was not. And what happened was is I was going 90 in a 55. And there was a reason why it was a 55. It was because there was a lot of hills. Yeah, well, I thought it was 75. I thought it was a 75 mile an hour zone. I thought I was only mildly speeding, but I was like crazily speeding. Yes, I thought it's a highway. You can go a little bit faster. And usually as long as there's not a cop, you're fine. But everyone goes a little bit faster on the highway. Don't know, we're not judging Matt today. So yeah, I was going like 90 in a 55. Major speeding ticket. The ticket was almost as much as it was to fix the car. Um but I also was going up a hill at 90. And I had a used car that could not handle this because there is a limitation with Camrys, the specific model that I had, where it burned oil very quickly. And they solved this with the newer models, and that's where I got the engine that I eventually replaced in my car. But I was going up a hill at 90. I heard a very loud bang in my car, engine. And I was spewing black smoke all throughout the drive. And as I was getting pulled over by a state trooper, and I think the fact that I destroyed my car is the only reason that I didn't get arrested that day for breaking the speeding laws. Because the cop must have felt bad for me that I killed my car. Uh, so, and then I tried to start it, and for some reason, it went about 100 feet and then died. Uh, so I got about 100 feet in this car, and then it just straight up died. It wouldn't run anymore. Um, and I got stuck in the middle of nowhere. Uh, the closest person who could pick us up was 2 hours away, and we just sat there we just sat there at a rest stop that the tow truck had taken us to for 3 hours because they have obviously were on vacation and weren't right next to their car. No, I didn't have cell service. That was the worst part. We had like no cell service. We had to use like a payphone or whatever to call our I had to use a payphone to call my dad in order to get the in order to get this car to us. Um he was very concerned. He was not angry. He was concerned that we were injured. Because usually, if your car fails when you're going 90 miles an hour, that's not really a good thing. Um, but yeah, I got made fun of the entire weekend, and I lost all of my savings to that. He was mad. So this was the no. So here's the deal. Every single person, because I was 19 at this point, I was basically an adult. Um, every single person I talked to about this basically decided that although I was doing something absolutely stupid and dangerous, I had already received punishment for it because my car is dead. Because my car was dead at that point. Like, I had received cosmic punishment because my car died. Later, I want to say 6 months. 6 months later, when I finally saved up enough money to fix my car, they had a look at it, and I blew a hole in the engine the size of a football. They said it was the largest hole in an engine that they had ever seen. And it felt like it when my car blew up. That's dumb. That was dumb. I meant to move the bishop. Yeah. So that was fun. I know, right? Yeah. I'm either extremely lucky or extremely unlucky at all times in my life. Yeah, I have interesting stories. So many interesting stories about, oh, let's call it, I don't know. What can we call it? This town in the middle of nowhere has a very specific name that would be very easy to look up. No, actually, I was still pretty thin at this point. I only put on weight when I got into college. And I'm trying to lose it now that now that I need to stay active in order for my back to not hurt. Um, I did. Yeah. My first year of college, I was not healthy at all. But what should I call this place? This place will be called, I don't know, Lake Town. I'm lazy today. So in Lake Town, there's a bunch of awesome things that happened in my life. Uh and it's coming up, so I might as well talk about it. And I'm thinking about it, so I'm going to. Um so this place is awesome. It was full of some of the happiest memories of my childhood, and also some of the craziest stories. So one of the ones that I remember are so this is a huge family reunion. I see all of my cousins on my mom's side of the family every year that we go to Lake Town. Um, it's incredible. And basically you're just like us as kids, even when we were like 10 or 12, 10 to 12, we were just let off the leash. Basically, like, you know how your parents are at that age, your parents are like with you everywhere you go, or you have some kind of supervision, unless you're going to like a park down the street or something. We could do basically anything here, and it was so much fun, which is why the craziest shit happened to us every single time. Uh, so I was hanging out with one of my cousins. Let's call her Danny. We'll call her Danny because that's a name that I'm going to call her. Because she's involved in a lot of these stories because she she's just a crazy kind of person. Um, so there was this guy that really hated her because she had a very abrasive personality. She's a wonderful person, and I love her. We get into arguments about politics sometimes, but I love her as a person. Um, there was this guy that hated her. Um, and I was kind of like, I didn't really like her that much. We weren't really cool with each other at this point. Um, but uh, this was also a really not cool thing that I did. I wasn't really aware of what was happening, but it did kind of happen because of me. So we were just chilling at this. So there's this little like hotel resort area where you could hang out, and we were playing pool, playing ping pong, just chilling out. And Danny decides she wants to go for a swim out at the lake just down at the docks at this same place that we were at. Uh, so she's like, "Hey, Matt, can you watch my phone for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll watch your phone. It's super easy." Um, like I just have to watch a phone while I do other crap like play pool and kick everyone's ass because I'm great at pool. Uh, and so basically I was just chilling there playing pool, and this guy, I think his name, I can't even remember his name, so let's just call him Cole. Uh, Cole walks up and he thinks that it's gonna be really funny to play a prank on her. This was, in hindsight, an incredible prank and also one of the most horrifying things that could ever happen to an individual. Um, so he gave me a Rubik's Cube in order to distract me because he knew I was a person of integrity. Uh, and I would not just let him go through her phone. Uh, and he said he would give me $100 if I could solve it. I did not end up solving it, but he did end up getting away with whatever the fuck he was doing. Um, yes, I am a person of integrity. So he grabs her phone, and it's very important to know that her phone did not have a passcode on it. I don't, because it was like the early 2000s, and for some reason, hey, what's up, iPomix? I'm telling a story from my childhood. For some reason in the early 2000s, Apple didn't require that you add a passcode to your phone. That sounds insane these days, but it is a thing that you used to be able to do. Um, iPomix, I'm sorry, we're not doing shock chest today. I really appreciate it that you showed up though. Uh, I haven't gotten everything completely set up, but I'm sorry. Back to the story. So, this iPhone did not have a passcode on it. I didn't. Not a very big deal, as long as you don't have an asshole trying to prank you. So, what this guy did, and at the time, initially I thought this was hilarious. But retrospectively, I'm thinking this is a horrible, terrible, evil thing to do to another person. Um, he just opened up her phone and changed every single one of her contacts to Batman. Same font, same capitalization. Every single contact is now Batman on your phone. And like capital B Batman. 100% evil. But the cherry on top was that he changed the background to a meme that was like a derpy face of Batman. It just said, "I'm Batman." This was around the time The Dark Knight came out. It was Absolutely hilarious. Unfortunately, this meant that she no longer was able to text anyone, and her main job was babysitting. And she had multiple like adults that she would like babysit for. So imagine like imagine you're like someone texts you and it's Batman and it's Batman and you have no and they're like I want you to babysit for me. And they said, "Okay, be at my place at this time." And you have no idea which of the five people that you babysit for is asking you to babysit. That's a big deal. That's kind of a big deal because that's all that's her entire way of getting money because she was like I don't know like 15 13 14 15, you know. That's just her job. And it was really fucked up when I realized that because if it's just like your friends, you could say, "Oh, I was pranked, sorry." But like telling someone that like gives you money to watch their children that some idiot pranked you is like in that way is kind of embarrassing. And I completely get it why she was very upset. And then her dad um went got so pissed. Uh and rightfully so now that I think about it. I'm like not even now that I think about it. I'm like on that day I realized, "Oh shit, this is kind of my fault." But not really. No one really thought it was my fault, but I felt responsible for this horrible thing that happened. Um and like uh he showed a lot of restraint. But I think he genuinely wanted to cause this kid physical harm. Uh, and he yelled at this kid for like a good hour when he finally tracked him down. It was yeah, it was not good. And I felt very guilty when this happened. Cause like I was somewhat aware, like not entirely aware that they were just gonna play a prank on her. I thought they were just gonna like do something weird, like you know, send a text to her friend or something, which is still not cool. But like I didn't. I was kind of like an asshole kid. Um, because I was like 13 at the time. I was kind of like an asshole kid, but like I was somewhat aware. I had no idea that they were doing this awful, really honestly like malicious prank. Um, yeah. She was lucky that a lot of that stuff was stored on the cloud. The cloud was a new thing at the time though, so not all of her contacts were saved. and that was kind of not cool. Um, I've got some other crazy stories from Lake Town though. By the way, it's awesome. So another super sketchy thing that I did in Lake Town. uh, so what was it? No, this isn't a thing I did. No, I heard about it later. So there is an amusement park in Lake Town. And this was when we were a little bit older, probably like my cousin who did this, let's call him Jason. Uh when Jason did this, it was really really not cool. But he was getting really drunk at like he was like 18 at the time. But he was getting really drunk. What's up? He was getting really drunk and uh he was hanging out with his friend. He was a friend of no, I'm talking about a story from when I was like at Lake Town. And you know, like no one really cares. Everyone kind of like no one like adult supervision goes out the window when we're at this place. Uh, so no one really cares if like an 18 or 19-year-old like is drinking. But he did something really really dumb. So there's an amusement park in Lake Town. Uh, at this amusement park, he decided that it would be so cool and funny to climb the roller coaster. And so he did with his dumb friend. So yeah, they climbed a roller coaster and they sent us pictures from the top. No, he didn't die. He just so uh my cousin Jason has this amazing power where no matter how much stupid shit he does, he never really gets in trouble. Like I think if I did half the stupid shit that he did, I would be dead. I mean I hurt my back doing something that's normal at Lake Town. Like completely normal. You just like inner Timmy. So like of course he doesn't ever really get in and he never gets in any trouble for anything. That's made. But yeah, he climbed on top of the roller coaster and he sent us pictures from the top. It was maybe 200 feet. It's not like it's an amazing roller coaster. It's just like a kid roller coaster. Like a roller coaster that would have been impressive in the 40s, but not very cool today because we have like insane engineering technology. It's not Worlds of Fun or Six Flags. It's just like a 200, no, not even 200 feet. It's probably like 100 feet tall. It's a 100-foot tall roller coaster. It goes up 100 feet. Like if you fell off, you'd probably die. But it's not like it's not like he climbed up the Mamba or anything. And then there's some other things that I did out at Lake Town that I'm pretty sure are illegal. But the statute of limitations has probably passed on them, but I'm not going to talk about it either way because I'm not really proud of what I did. But yeah, there was some illegal stuff that I did over there. It's not like super bad. Like you'd probably not even think it was a big deal if I told you about it, but I feel guilty about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah. We did dumb stuff up there. Like straight up, just really dumb stuff. No, of course I didn't. No, I was a minor for almost all of these stories. I haven't even gone. I didn't even go. Did I? I went last year, but the year before that was COVID, and before that I was a minor, right? Last year I would have been in 22, 21, 20, 20 probably not. But there wasn't anything really weird that happened there when I was 20. 19, I crashed my car, and that was the dumbest thing I did. Oh, this is an embarrassing story, and you have to promise not to think less of me after this. But when I was 15, probably, um, uh, the first part of this story is actually incredibly embarrassing, but I'm gonna tell it anyways. So this was so we were like 14 or 15. And oh yeah, one second. There's some background which is a completely different story to this entire story. This whole story has background from a completely different story. So that's interesting. Um so this year that I went up there, I was definitely 14. And did not have a phone yet, which was weird, but I didn't really think so. Um, and it's really important that I didn't have a phone yet because it makes everything that I'm doing at this point even more dumb. Uh, so there was this really so we went to the amusement park one day, and there was a trapeze artist show, which was super cool. They were really, really good at their jobs. To start, amazing show. I thought it was awesome. Uh, there was this trapeze artist girl that was um like my age, and I thought she was super cool and she was very, very pretty. Um, and I walked up to her and I was like, I don't know what to do. You're cute. Can I have your number? Because I'd seen this on television. You ask for a girl's number. That's obviously what you do as someone who's interested in another person. And I did not have a phone. I don't know why I asked for the person's number when I did not have a phone. This was so dumb. I can't believe I can't believe what I'm saying to myself at this moment. But yeah, no, she did I did not have a phone. I asked for her number. She did give it to me. I never called it. Cuz I didn't have a phone. And yeah, like I was just this awkward, like 13 or 14-year old who did not have a phone, but definitely asked for her number. I did get it, but I did not call her because I asked for her number because that was the thing you do when you're interested in someone, and that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Because you've seen television. You ask for a girl's number, and then they give it to you, and then you start dating. Yes. Yeah, I didn't call her. Uh, my cousin was so impressed by this that he thought of a game that we could play for the rest of the weekend, where we just try to get as many numbers as possible. In retrospect, this cousin of mine is a lot more handsome than I am, and he was going to win. But also, it was a dumb, pretty much sexist game that we were playing. Uh, that I did not win. In pursuit of this goal, I did even more dumb things that we're going to talk about. So, there were two friends that were also cousins that were coming to uh that came to Lake Town the same week we did. And they were there with their grandparents or something. That's kind of important to the story, but we'll get back to it. And I thought one of them was like really cute. And so, being dumb and still not coming to the realization that I do not have a phone and cannot call anyone, wanted to get their numbers. Uh, and I also wanted to win this stupid dumb game I was playing. At the age of 13, I was dumb and this was stupid and it was all a very bad idea and I'm aware of this. Um, but they also were not interested in me because I think it was very clear that I was only trying to get their numbers to play a stupid game. Uh, but they said that because they're like 13 or 14 and like they were like, okay, well, we won't give you our number until you meet our adult supervisors. And I'm like, well, that's a weird thought, I said in my head. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever, I don't care. We're going to water aerobics tomorrow in the morning. Why don't you go with us? So I did that. It was horrible. I learned a lot. It was more difficult than I thought it was. I didn't think that I would be going to water aerobics before I was 50, but that's a thing I did because I thought because I thought some girls were cute. I'm a very intelligent person. I was also 13, and 13-year-olds as a brand are not like intelligent kids. Well, yeah, water aerobics. Water aerobics. They're wonderful. They're great. The embarrassing part about it was that I was there with like five old ladies, like in their 60s. I was just, uh, like I was there with five old ladies, two very cute 13-year-old girls that when I was also 13, two very cute girls that were my age, and five old ladies. And I think that's the stupidest thing I have ever done to try to impress a girl. I don't know why I thought that would impress a girl, but that is the stupidest thing I have done to date and in my whole life to try to impress someone. It did not work. They were not impressed. They were much more impressed by my cousin, who was much more attractive than me and wasn't doing dumb things to try to get them to be interested in me, in him. He was also playing the same game I was, but it was also pretty dumb. He was just better at doing it than I was, which is not a good thing retrospectively. Oh, I could have taken there. I'm telling a story. But yeah, lots of dumb things. I am now a guy that has not spoken to a girl my own age in, I don't know, probably like 5 months. There was Susie, and she was cool, but I am 23. I spend all my time with you guys. What do you think? I'd go to bars. I drink with you. How do you meet someone playing Fortnite? I didn't know Russians were allowed to play Fortnite. I thought they closed all the servers. I thought they closed off everything from Russia. Interesting. Mm. But yeah. Yeah, I will play you as soon as I am done with this game. Who is texting me? Uh, okay. So I also thought of this because my family is currently there. It's my little sister in like uh a swimsuit. She looks so cool. But also she's wearing it's I think it's hilarious because I know exactly what kind of hat she's wearing. She is wearing a hat from a bar because drinking is like such a huge part of this like lake town area. Because my family's there right now for my little brother's soccer tournament. Yeah, viewers are gonna be a little sporadic. I haven't been following my schedule, and Twitch likes consistency. So I don't expect viewers to be very high today. So I'm amping up the streamer stories today to try to get people interested when they finally do show up. I think I do. I think it's just you. Unless Nightmare's lurking. I want it now. Your heart and your soul. Um, no, I've been spending a lot of my time applying for jobs. I have not even focused on streaming stuff in 5 days. I haven't played any chess either, and I think it's starting to show. But yeah, I haven't done anything stream related in 5 days. I do really appreciate what. No, but they don't have any work for me. Uh, so basically, uh, they have not fired me because they want to get the production of the products I make into full gear as fast as possible. The only problem with that is that all of those products, all of the materials I use to make those products come from overseas and they all went up in the fire. So everything that I used to make is impossible to make because we don't have the materials for it. Uh so they can't really do anything with me right now because my job is impossible to do. So they're having me count inventory, which is a bullshit task to pretend to give me something to do. No, I still work. Air quotes. I just don't do anything at work. Like, I'm getting paid to show up and not do anything, but look busy. And that's the most annoying thing of it. Because I am actually being instructed to look busy. And that drives me up a wall because I'm not a very creative person and I don't want to get paid to pretend I'm working. And it just drives me insane that that is what I do. Oh, I did tell them that. Um, I told them that. I told them I was looking for another job and that they should look for somebody else. So that's what they did. They posted my job. And I've had 3 interviews for other jobs because I'm looking for something different. I don't want to work warehouse jobs because my back is killing me. Um, yeah. If I wanted a warehouse job, I could have a warehouse job within a day. I'm very qualified to be a warehouse worker. I know how to use a forklift. I know how to do inventory stuff, and I know inventory management. I'm very hardworking. Uh, I could get good recommendations from pretty much every place I've worked in the past 3 years. Uh, I just don't want to work warehouse shit anymore because my body can no longer handle manual labor. Um, but yeah, I think if I think the only reason they're keeping me around at this point is to train the new guy that they hire how to make the products that I make and assemble. Uh, I I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I still have a job. It's just to be available for when they hire the guy who's gonna replace me. Because they really don't want because the people because there's 50 people who work at my company. Uh, a whole 3 of them know how to do my job well enough to teach somebody else how to do it. Those 3 people are me, the majority owner of the company, and in my opinion, someone who is about to be promoted to head of production. So, out of those 3 people, who do you think has the most time on their hands to teach a new employee how to do my job. I'll give you a hint. It's not the two people that outrank me because they have much more important shit to do. Um, so yeah, I think they're just keeping me around at this point to because they could fire me. They could totally fire me. I'm planning on leaving. They could fire me easily. Yeah, I hate my job now because again, I get paid to pretend I'm working and there's something morally wrong with that. I can't pin it down because I know that my managers are telling me to do it, but there's something very morally wrong with being paid to pretend I do something that I don't. Like, it's not like I'm being 100% unproductive, but I spend at least 6 hours of my day, of my 8 hour day, pretending I'm doing something productive. And then the other 2 hours, I'm actually doing something productive. And I feel good about my job and what I do. Um, and the rest of that time, I hate myself. So, yeah. Exactly. I should be home. I should not be doing anything. I'm literally I spend most of my day applying for jobs in case my interviews don't work out. Like, so I spend most of my day in a hidden corner of the warehouse, chilling on my phone, applying for jobs. And I feel sick at the end of that day, knowing that I'm literally producing nothing. I would say I used to be doing more than my fair share of work, and now an incredibly ambitious person could do what I am doing in an hour. Like I used to be an incredibly ambitious person, and now everything I do in a day could be done in an hour. And and that is incredibly upsetting to me. I have legitimately been told by my supervisors that they have nothing for me to do and to go hide and look busy. And not just my direct supervisor, but his boss as well. For like the owner of the company. You know, the guy who gives me my paychecks. Like literally I don't know why I'm there anymore. Yeah. I do nothing. I literally do nothing at my job. I don't know why. I am the most overpaid person in America right now. I don't do anything. And I get paid nearly $20 an hour to do nothing. Like I think I've been paid over $1,000 to do nothing so far. I'm not even being entertaining. I'm just sitting down and staring. It'd be like if I did this. And you gave me $1,000. Just this. $1,000. I feel horrible. I hate it, and I feel like a terrible person. Um, I don't know my annual salary, but it's at least 30,000. $30,000. I don't know what the currency is in Portugal, but I get paid. What is it? I could figure out exactly what I get paid at my job right now. I could figure out exactly how much I get paid annually. Just pull up a calculator. Uh, I get paid $36,000 a year. It's not a bad living. Uh, well, I do produce something that's very specific and does have a lot of like knowledge to produce. Plus, I work at a chemical company, so there's also hazard pay. I do work with dangerous chemicals. Like the other day, there was a small spill of a highly corrosive chemical that I had to clean up. It was like less than a quart on the ground. Um, but it was a corrosive chemical that I was told to not get on my skin, so I get hazard pay. And part of that is hazard pay. They have to pay you more because you're dealing with dangerous chemicals. That doesn't sound right. Pre-taxes, I make pre-taxes I make 36,000 a year. That's pre-taxes, and I don't really pay. See, the thing is, if you make under like $50,000, you don't really pay taxes in America. But yeah, my point here is that I'm getting paid to do nothing, and it makes me sick. Oh, my company pays for my healthcare though. My company offers healthcare insurance. That's what a lot of people don't like. For something like a major deadly disease that I could die from, it's still going to be expensive. But for most general crap, your company will pay for your healthcare. I'm also 23, and in America, you're allowed to stay on your parents' health insurance uh, until you're 26. And my parents are very old. My parents are not old. Once I'm going to correct that. My parents have been in the system long enough that they have very good health insurance because they went to college and they have a decent job. Um, I think, and this is just my opinion, I don't like getting political generally. I think that healthcare isn't messed up because people pay for it themselves or with insurance. This is a great. Okay. This is my grand theory about most of American politics. The This is my grand theory about most of American politics, and most of it's due. Almost every problem that we face right now is because of prohibition in the 1920s. Now, stick with me on this, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. This is my grand theory about why America kind of sucks. In the 1920s, In the 1920s, alcohol, the sale of alcohol was made illegal. A lot of things had to happen in order for the government to allow that to happen. So at the time, the the biggest income source for the American government was a tax on alcohol. A tax on the sale and production of alcohol. So, in order for the people who were in favor of getting rid of uh, the sale and production of alcohol, they had to create a new way for the government to make money. Up until this point, it was deemed unconstitutional to tax income. But the government realized that if they taxed income, then they could make a lot more money and it could replace the money that they were gonna make from the sale and production of alcohol. So they passed an amendment funded by the people who wanted to ban alcohol. The politicians in favor of it were funded by the people who wanted to who wanted to ban alcohol. Um, so they passed this amendment allowing uh, income tax, a tax on how much money you made. That's the first domino that fell. And it's caused a lot of problems in our American governmental system. I would say that one of the most debated issue to this day is how high or low income taxes should be. There is no doubt that it had an effect on one of the biggest debates in this country. And up until and there is that you could make an argument that it may have been legalized anyways, but it happened a lot sooner. And a lot and it happened before we really knew what the effect of high taxation would be on our economy and how people used incentives. I'm gonna be very I'm going to be very bad at chess for the next moment while I explain the complex governmental systems that created all the problems in our political system. So, because of this, because economists working for the government didn't really know what the effect of a tax on income would be, before they really knew how far they could push the income tax and still not ruin the economy. In the 1950s, the government set the progressive income tax rate of like 90% once you reached like a certain threshold of like earnings. And that threshold, I don't know what it was. It was some, I don't know exactly what it was, but I do know that at one point we reached a 90% income tax for a certain tax bracket. And that's insane, and no one would ever vote for that. No one would ever vote for someone who suggested that these days. But it was acceptable back then because we didn't really know what the effect on our economy would be. Um, the result was that absolutely nobody wanted yeah, the result was that it made absolutely no sense to, because you couldn't incentivize people with that much. You couldn't incentivize people with any money, basically. Like, if you wanted to pay somebody a salary of over $200,000 at a large, like, say at an investment firm or something like that, you couldn't. You absolutely couldn't. You couldn't. Yeah, 94%. But you could no longer incentivize them with money because everybody knew. Yeah, exactly. You could no longer incentivize them with money because everybody knew that if I gave this guy a $10,000 pay raise, which is a crazy high pay rise, they would only get like $600 in actual money earned from that pay rise. Is that right? That's not right. That's $6,000, right? No, I think it is $600. Am I right on that? Fact check me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to be 100% honest. If my math is wrong there, I'm doing it on the fly. Um, but the result is that they couldn't incentivize people with pay raises anymore. So what did they do? What did they do? They didn't give them pay rises anymore. They no longer gave them raises. They gave them other incentives like company cars, more vacation time, and yes, healthcare, better healthcare. It covered more things. It was just better. As a result, exactly, but healthcare is money. As a result, insurance the insurance business went through the freaking roof. Instead of being like a group of people from your church that were coming together to get better rates, it was now a multi-million-dollar business because insurance companies were getting paid by huge corporations to give all of their employees health insurance. This huge boom made it so that these insurance companies were representing much more people. Uh, a factor of 10 or even 100 times more people than they were before. So they were negotiating with hospitals and they wanted bare bones rates. The hospitals still trying to make money because literally all of their large, like huge amounts of people were demanding that you basically made no profit, all decided that the only way that they could make money is if they lied to the insurance companies. So what they did was they took how much it actually costs for a medical procedure. Say an EpiPen. They wouldn't have existed back then, but I'm just using it as an example. Let's say an EpiPen costs $10 to produce. They, the hospitals, would claim that it costs $100 to produce, and that they could give the insurance companies a really, really, really good deal and say it costs $12, and give them a deal on give them a deal for $12. They make $2 on per EpiPen. Just an example. I know that's not real profit margins, but this is basically what happened. And they claimed that they were giving these insurance companies an incredible deal. The biggest problem with that is that now it's required to have insurance to get a deal that you probably would have gotten if all of this shit hadn't happened. So to get a normal deal from a company like a hospital, because hospitals are companies, to get a normal deal in a situation where none of this would have happened, you would basically be paying what you would with insurance. But because of this domino effect that happened throughout history, insurance companies became huge. And now, insurance companies are lobbying government officials to keep it that way. Because they make hundreds of millions of dollars based on a lie. Because they've made it so that they're necessary in order for you to get health care. So these companies have made it so that they are necessary. No, I don't think so. I don't think that hospitals or companies is the takeaway here. I think that it's the corrupt insurance companies. that are screwing everything up. Because I'll tell you this, America has the highest rates of new medicines produced and the highest rates of new medicines produced being sent to other countries. So I think there's a reason that, because there's an economic incentive, because people aren't going to be, there's no way for you to make people good and just do amazing, wonderful miracles for the world if you're not going to pay them to do it. I think it's a good thing that they are companies. I think the corruption of these corporate lobbyist assholes is the reason why our healthcare system is so fucked up. No, but it's the medical. Okay. It's the medical industry. And yes, they do. Hospitals play a big role in the production of new medications because um, they are deeply involved in clinical trials, which are necessary for uh, the approval of new medications. And that's the main reason why private hospitals are making more money is because they're involved in clinical trials. But yeah, I honestly think it's all because of prohibition. And let's bear in mind, we would be paying reasonable rates because no company actually wants to up. Let's face it. If hospitals were competing with each other, let's say, uh, if hospitals were competing with each other, then you would not have. There's no way they could get away with paying 600 times the amount it costs to produce something. Especially something as generic as like an EpiPen or antibiotics. Like the medical industry is fucked up because of insurance companies lobbying the government and corrupt government officials to keep the system broken. That's also why in America we have so many tax companies. So, yeah. But you would be paying reasonable prices. I don't think so. Because I don't think it's not a in okay. America's a little different. In my view, we honestly don't have things the government gives you. It's things our main government system is what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And what you're allowed to do is not is not a gift given to you by the government. It is a inherent human right. What you're not allowed to do is infringe on other people's rights. And for a long time in this country, we've decided that you can't force somebody to give you something. I just gave up my queen and they didn't notice. And by the way, the same problem that I was talking about with insurance companies exists with governments when they're the ones bargaining for lower prices. When they are when the government is paying for crap, then the hospitals are going to claim the same thing. When you have a monopolistic force saying that this is the way you will deal with us and this is how you will get prices, the hospitals are still making money somehow. The hospitals need money to pay their electricity and their their employees. So they're still claiming that things cost 600 times what they do. It's just that now it's your except now it's your tax dollars. Yeah, but then you also have the issue, okay. This was the issue that I really got frustrated with. Yeah, exactly. They just print money. But the problem is that when the government decides what is considered a right, you're not allowed to do things like in the country in the UK. There was a famous case where like the government refused to pay for not even just that they refused to pay, but they wouldn't allow them to pay themselves for an experimental treatment to save their dying infant. And I think that's an incredibly dangerous, and I know it's anecdotal, but it's an incredibly dangerous thing to allow the government to tell you what you're allowed and what you aren't allowed to have as part of healthcare. Because when healthcare is a right, then the government is connected, is intertwined, and no, you're allowed. So no, like the British government not only told them that they couldn't pay, that they would not pay for it, but that the parents were not allowed to pay for it themselves to get this procedure. Like they like I don't think it's not the government's role to tell you what you are allowed to buy. If they want to drown themselves in debt in order to save the life of their child, that should be their choice. It's a crappy choice because it's a crappy situation. But in this situation, the government was paying for their health care. They told them that they weren't allowed to give them their get to let their child have this experimental procedure on the government's dime. Fine, we'll pay for it ourselves. And then the government told them, now you're not even allowed to pay for it yourself. One second, I've got a call from my mom. Sorry. Yeah, my mom butt dialed me. But no, I think. So here's what I honestly believe: the government fucks everything up. No matter what they touch, it's gonna mess. It's gonna end in someone dying because of them. I'm a libertarian, and I genuinely believe that everything the government touches turns to shit. Like in Canada, for example, like they don't have their their early detection for cancers is way lower because it's really hard to get a hospital uh, to get a visit with a physician in order to detect those things because it's run by the government and it's crappy. It's just like it'll turn an easily curable cancer into, yeah, but that kind of breaks your, but that kind of breaks the system. Like it's one thing to give someone the ability to get out of debt, but it's a completely other thing to, well, if the government's not paying for it, then it's not public health care, is it? If you're paying for it, then it's still public health care. The only way you can get the services that you need in Canada. Yeah, I did too. I paid like I I paid very little for a hospital visit. It was usually covered by insurance. I don't It was usually covered by insurance. It doesn't solve the problem. It's just a different. Yeah. I think if you don't have insurance, then it's very, very, very difficult to get healthcare. I don't think government insurance is the solution. I think it's the insurance companies lobbying the government that caused the problem. That causes the problem to this day. I don't think a government insurance plan would do any better than the insurance that already exists. It would just be the same problem. I agree. I agree with you. I just think it's messed up for a different reason than you think it is. I think that the government system is fucked up, and it's mostly due to the insurance companies and all that shit that caused, like, that was, and all that crap that was caused by, um, like, the prohibition thing that I was talking about earlier. I just think it's fucked up, not because it's. I don't think it's fucked up because it's not run by the government. I think it's fucked up because the government involvement in this issue has caused a lot of the problems. Like, hospitals would be charging people reasonable rates if they weren't being bullied by insurance companies. And insurance companies wouldn't be bullying hospitals if they could if they couldn't get away with it. And the reason they're getting away with it is because they're paying off government officials. Yeah, but health insurance has become such an inflated and disgusting industry that it's causing healthcare to be far more expensive for everyone. Like, I don't know why you're arguing in favor of the insurance lobby right now. I really don't. Because these insurance companies, I have life insurance as well. I've got one on my parents' account, and I've also got another one paid for by my company. I don't think life insurance is it. It's health insurance. Health insurance has become so. It's become such a disgusting, like, government, because it's being propped up by the government. Because we try to make laws that limit what these health insurance companies can do, and it's stopped by the government officials that are being paid off by them. And I don't think that these government officials are going to get better if they're put in charge of the entire operation. If I'm being 100% honest. Like, they're the reason the problem is here right now. So why should we trust them with the solution? It's just I no longer I don't trust them with the solution when they're the reason the problem exists. You know? And that's probably just the libertarian in me talking. And this is why I don't talk about politics on stream, by the way. Because I do terrible at chess when I'm talking about politics. I just don't trust these same politicians that are supposed to that are the biggest problem in our healthcare system to fix the problem. Like, they're the reason the problem still exists. So why should I trust them with the solution? That's my biggest argument in favor of not allowing these government officials to handle our healthcare system. They are the problem. Why should I let them try to why should I let them try to fix the problem that they're still creating? I don't think it'll get better. I think it'll honestly get worse if they let themselves be the solution. If they try to if they I honestly think they're probably pretending to try to be the solution in order to get more votes, and that they're never going to actually do it. Because they've been claiming they're going to do it. There are a lot of people on one party in America that have been claiming they're going to do it for 20 years now. That party is currently in control of the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And if you want that change to happen, then why aren't they doing it in the 2 years that they've had the ability to? It's because it's not popular to do it right now. They're only doing it. They're only claiming to want these things in order to get people to vote for them. And I don't trust people like that with my healthcare. I just don't think you can trust people like that. Because they've been saying they're going to go with the European model for 20 years. And now they have the power to do it, and they're not doing it. A lot of people on the other side of the aisle have claimed to be in favor of a universal health care, not universal insurance policy. They haven't implemented it either. Because they're just doing it to try to get votes. Because they're all being paid off. They're the problem. They're corrupt. I'm not going to trust the people who are causing the problem to be the solution. Like, they could do it this year. They won't. They could do it next year. They're not going to. They could do it the year after that. They're not going to. Because most Americans don't want it. A majority of Americans don't want it, so they're not going to do it. Even if it would be better. I don't think it would be, because it's run by them. They're not going to do it. And they've said they want to do it. They're just trying to gain political points. And I don't trust the government to do anything but say they want less control over what I'm doing with my life. I'm a libertarian. I honestly think the less the government is in control of what I do in my daily life, including get medical procedures, the better off I am. Because I don't trust the government to do anything for me. Because I know that they're all corrupt. I don't want the government to give me anything because I know that they're just gonna want to control what I do with it. They're gonna want to control whether or not I'm allowed to do certain things with it. Like, oh, they're gonna qualify things as medical procedures that aren't, and they're gonna take control in any way they can. I guarantee you that's what's gonna happen in this country if those things are implemented. Because there are a lot of things that are very controversial in medicine right now. In this country, what procedures you're allowed to get. And I guarantee you, if you declare like healthcare a human right, then they're going to say that these procedures are now a human right, even if you're a parent and you don't want your kid to get a procedure. It doesn't matter, it's a human right. They can get it without their parents' consent. They can get a life-altering procedure without their parents' consent because it's a human right. That's what they're claiming. I guarantee you that will happen if you declare healthcare to be a human right. And there could be some kind of other procedure, like, oh, if you want to get this injection so that you can be in the military, then it's a human right because it's healthcare. And that injection just turns off your higher functions and makes you a perfect soldier. Without a brain that will vote for anybody. It's an unrealistic thing, I know. But it's something that could happen. I don't agree. Because the things that we declare are human rights in our country according to our government system, are things that the government is not allowed to do. That's how our system works, and that's very foreign to other people, I think. Like, things that are human rights in our country are things the government is not allowed to do. Like, they're not allowed to infringe on your ability to speak or your ability to proper. Yes, but is housing a human right? Because you can't live if you don't have somewhere to live. Is food a human right? Because you can't live without food. Is because we agree that you are allowed to have these things. You're allowed to obtain them. The government can't bar you from obtaining these things. But that doesn't mean the government provides you with all these things. But not for everyone. Then you'd have communist China or Russia. That's because the system that you're trying to implement is a universal healthcare system for everyone. That means, and in a lot of these countries, you're not allowed, like, private industry on healthcare isn't allowed, like in Canada. Like, private hospitals didn't used to be allowed. They're changing that now. But they weren't allowed. And that's debatable. Because you're not seeing the same rates of curing of illnesses in, like, you're not seeing the same rates of detection of illnesses, and you're seeing lowered rates of you're seeing lowered rates of, like, increased rates of dying from illness. What do you mean that research doesn't matter? People are dying. If the result is that we're getting better healthcare for paying for it, but if you're not giving people an economic incentive to produce the medicines that are being created, then no one's creating new medicine that you're trying to make free for everyone. We're not really. Yeah, but not okay. If it's a human right, then you shouldn't be able to make a profit on it. Like, you shouldn't be profiting off of people's lives. That's not right. That shouldn't be allowed. You can't profit off of the lives of people. You're trading blood. That is the argument that has been used to not allow companies to sell their products at the rate that they want to. These same arguments have been used. No, it doesn't. Because you're not. If it worked perfectly, then you'd be creating the same amount of, or even comparable to. So, even if it were comparable to the amount to the GDP, if it were comparable to, like, say, if you compared the GDP of a European country and the GDP of America versus how much medical technology they've created. Even Apple, even if you change the numbers to account for the fact that the GDP of some of these countries are lower than America's, you still end up with them creating less new medical technology than America does. Because our healthcare system is based on the underlying idea that you can make money doing it. I think the biggest problem is the insurance companies. I really do. It's lobbying and corrupt government officials that are really the problem. No, but the result still ends up. It's the underlying idea that if medical care is a human right, then you shouldn't be able to profit off of it. It's the same idea that's driving the implementation in hospitals versus the medical research. You're not allowed to make a profit if it's a human right. You shouldn't be making extreme profits if it's a human right. And I guarantee you that the government's not gonna estimate properly what a human right is, what a fair price is, because people are always gonna complain. No, because people are always gonna complain that the prices are too high. And you end up with people that I don't know why I'm talking about this for so long on a non-political show. I think I'm just gonna delete the VOD for this one. I am going to continue to argue this point with you if you want to. But I'm probably going to delete the VOD for this one. I disagree. Okay. But my main point is so my main point that I'm trying to bring home to you is that I don't trust the government with my medical care. Even if they're only receiving a small amount for everything, that results in a larger amount. An example of this could be Social Security money in the United States. For how the government actually handles the money that they get from people that is just supposed to benefit them in retirement. But here's my problem. It's just a stepping stone. And it was implemented. That the system that you're talking about was implemented in our country. It was called Obamacare. And it was a horrendous failure. Because it was run by the government. And I don't think it's possible in our country. Maybe I'll give you this concession. Maybe it's possible in a European country, but it is not possible in ours. Because I genuinely believe that our government officials are probably some of the most corrupt in the world. Barring places like India, North Korea, and China and Russia, which we can all agree are humanitarian disasters. Our government officials are probably the most corrupt in the free world. I don't think it's possible. Because we hire people and give people money not based on their competence, but based on how much lobbying and money they've been receiving for these things. I genuinely believe that America probably has the most corrupt politicians in the free world. I don't even if you argue that it is something that could exist in Europe, I don't think it's possible in the United States because of the sheer amount of corruption that exists. And the sheer amount of incompetence that this government has. Because sometimes they actively make decisions that are worse for the American people because some large group is giving them a lot of money. I think we can all agree on that, on both sides of the American politics sphere. That our government is making decisions that are worse for our people. Yes. But are you ignoring the point I just made? they're going to make worse decisions for the American people. I guarantee you, because they implemented a very similar thing that you're talking about, and it was called Obamacare. And it was a government-run insurance policy that you could opt in or out of. That it would be run poorly. An example of this is a line in the bill that has now been called unconstitutional, where they fined you, where the government fined you for not having insurance. The government said Obamacare will pay your insurance bills. But if you don't let us give these large insurance companies huge amounts of money, then you will pay us $1,000 a year. I don't think, even if the system were possible and it would work perfectly, it couldn't exist in the corruption that I know American government has. Which is why, as a libertarian, I only trust government officials who are trying to give American people more freedom to do whatever the hell they want. Because when Americans are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, then the government can't make any money off of it. And I guarantee you that these government officials will do whatever they want and whatever they can to get them to be paid more. And I'm in 1100s now. So we're going to take a break. Okay, bye, iPombix. Thank you for being here. Please come back when we actually do shock chess. I really appreciate you. No, I'm not sad. I'm just exhausted by this conversation, and this is why I don't like talking about politics on stream. Because I get really frustrated by it. Because I don't like having political debates, because I just don't like it. It frustrates me. And I'm probably not going to leave this up because I know I'm just going to get more people wanting to talk about politics on my show after this. Any help in what? With the code? No. No, I can figure it out myself. I just haven't been able to spend that much time on it. No, I just spent like 2 hours talking about politics and I'm exhausted. But I'm going to be able to figure it out myself. I just haven't been able to spend much time on it. Yeah, it works really well. I just have to implement it into running my Arduino, um, and then shocking my arm. Thank you so much for doing that, by the way. I'm sorry we had a lengthy political debate. uh, I did terrible in chess while I was doing that, by the way, because most of my brain power was focused on debating you and not on chess. I think I'm gonna take a break from chess as well because my brain has been tangled with it. I'm sorry for all you new viewers who just showed up wanting chess, but I'm gonna play a game that is based on chess and is. Am I not even streaming in a category right now? That's insane. That's not right. I'm gonna go to. Okay, bye, Ipombix. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry for having a debate with you while you're drunk. That's usually when people want to debate because, God, we don't want to have debates when we're sober. It's so stressful. I'm sorry for being political as well because I usually don't want to be. I usually really don't want to be political, guys. I'm sorry. Like, it's not fun for me, you know? I appreciate the intellectual stimulation, but it also gets in the way of me playing chess, which is why I refuse. Okay, so I beat King mode. Now we're gonna try to get the secret ending. And the secret ending is where you get to fight the bishop, the black bishop, after you've already beat the white king at the for the final boss. So there's a secret final boss at the end of the game where you beat the black bishop instead. And it has to happen under a very specific set of circumstances. So I have to get two specific cards that are for advantages for them, I have to get the book and theocracy. And if you do those things and leave one bishop alive at the end of the game, then you get a secret final boss. You do Wand of Wings. And if I would love if someone else would talk, because I'm exhausted now. I get exhausted, just absolutely exhausted by political conversations. Oh, come on. That's not fair. I have Black Mist, but I have to get the book and theocracy in order to get the secret ending. Damn it. I wasted that. I wasted my Black Mist. Shit. I'm screwed. Oh, I'm actually physically exhausted from that political conversation. I'm so ready to be done with politics for like a while. I was having fun up until that point too. What was I talking about? This is a bad choice walking around with this guy in my hands. Yeah, I'm screwed. I was screwed either way. Like, it's not even that I'm uncomfortable with it. I can do it. It's just, it's so frustrating. Especially talking with non Americans about American problems. And I'm not going to continue to talk about it now that he's left either. That's the book. That's the red book. That's one of the things we need in order to get the secret ending. And it's going to be our undoing. Holy shit, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is not fair. Are you fucking kidding me? I might end it soon. I don't want to go. I don't. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm gonna delete this VOD as soon as it pops up because there's so much politics in it. I'm really sorry to everyone. Holy shit. I don't get political. And that was me breaking my rule.